In today's video, we are going to tie the Iwan-E-Dun in a size 18 using a Daiichi 1120 hook. You can also use a 2488 hook as well. We're going to start off with some olive Veevus thread. You want to leave a nice long tag end to split the tails on your extended body. Now I know Phil just uses one strand. I actually like to use two, so I'll double this over. Reason being, the two I think help split the tails better, so I just take two strands there. There we are, and we are ready to tie in the body, which is just a piece of heavy mono. I like to use like 30 or 40 pound. Stiff is also nice too because it helps make it a little easier to tie onto. And we flatten out a little section there with our pliers, and we're just going to tie this in. I like that extended body to be about the length of the whole hook. There we go. Then we can just whip finish real quick, and we're going to whip finish. A half hitch also works. We're doing that just so we can reverse the direction of our thread and also reverse the hook on the vise. So I just take the hook and I flip it around on the vise. And I just take a little dab of super glue and just coat the extended body there. And then I just hold the thread up to the extended body on the underside. And that will help it just kind of stick to the body enough to where I can just do nice, easy, gingerly wrapped thread there. Just careful. If you put too much tension on it, everything will just come kind of flying off. So just real careful. There we go. Now we're ready for the tails. For the tails, we are going to use some Mayfly tails, also known as micro fibettes. I'm just using a dun color here. I like to take 4 of them, 2 on each side. You could just use 2, but I like to use 4. You can just see them a little better. There we go. And I even up the tips as much as I can. And we want those to hang off the back there about a shank and a half length of the hook. I just center those onto the top here if I can get it to cooperate. Just spiral your thread towards those tails, making sure they're as centered as you can get them. Then, when you get to the back, I like to split mine with my thread there at the back. That saves me having to wrap back down the body more than once. So I just split them with my fingers, take the thread, go right smack in between those two tails and capture the thread, spiral everything back down to the body. Then we can do a quick whip finish. Just a couple turns is all you need. We're not going to cut our thread or anything. I just literally use it to reverse the direction. Trim your tag ends out, and let's switch it back here the other way. You can see there I got nice separation with my tails, and we're ready to jump our thread back here to the front. Now I'm going to take some Parapost or Z yarn. I have a little bit of Z yarn here. Z-Lon also works good. It's all pretty similar stuff. I'm using white. we're just going to tie this in right here in the middle of the fly, and I just use a couple of X wraps to first get it started. Then I draw both pieces together, do a fairly loose wrap around it, then jump to the shank of the hook and do a little bit tighter wraps and go up the post at this point. This is going to be the base for our hackle to ride on, and go back down, jump to the shank of the hook here, and we're ready to tie in our hackle, which will just be a Keough Tyers grade Dun hackle. Just give it a quick measure there. I'm going to strip off a few of the barbs to give myself a place to tie in at. Just get it started on the shank of the hook first, then I wrap up the post and back down the post. Trim out the stem. If I can get it there. And we're ready for a little bit of dubbing. We're just going to use some microfine dubbing here and an olive. Superfine dubbing also works great. And we want to put on just enough to essentially just coat the thread. You don't want to add too much. And we're just going to build a little ball right around that post. If you put on too much, you can peel a little bit of it back. But you don't want to add too much. And then when you have your little body built there, just leave the thread hanging off the back. Make sure all your yarn's out of the way here. And then we're just going to take that hackle, we're going to wrap it down that post. Then when we get to the bottom, I'm going to take my thread and I'm just going to creep it underneath all those hackle fibers, 2 wraps. And I'm just going to turn my fly a little bit. It just makes it a little easier for me to whip finish. And I'm just going to whip finish underneath everything here. I usually just do a 2 or 3 turn whip finish. Pull tight, trim out any trapped fibers, the extra stem there, of course. And we can trim our post. And let me make sure I got all my trapped fibers trimmed out. And that is essentially a finished Iwan-E-Dun. And you can add a little bit of head cement or super glue also to the body, just to finish it off. Make it a little more durable. There we go. And that is the Iwan-E-Dun.